Speaker number 4 of day 1 of our Quantum Soul Guidance Summit is Adriana Pendolino. Adriana has been an intuitive tarot reader professionally for the past 5 years. She's had a deep interest in divination tools all her life and used oracle cards since she was a child. She became fascinated with astrology as a young adult and then became more serious about studying astrology along with using her intuitive abilities in recent years. This led her to Julia's Galactic Astrology course, which she was certified as a practitioner in June 2nd, 2024. Her main focus is to bring clarity for her clients to the questions they bring are finding past life patterns that can be healed in the current life. She loves to use the combination of astrology and oracle cards to give as much detail as she can, bringing deep confirmations for those she connects with. She's from the United States, but has now settled into her new home in the beautiful UK along with her husband and cat. In Adriana's studies and work with galactic astrology and past life reading, she's found the use of adding in past life oracle cards to bring even more details to experiences that someone has had through their soul's history. As a practicing intuitive tarot reader for over 5 years, it made sense for her to pull past life oracle cards when looking at someone's own chart to confirm her own intuitive findings. She also noticed certain cards made connection to both Earth lifetimes in Atlantis, ancient Egypt, Greece, and so on to the galactic fixed star connections that show up in a birth chart. These correlations show the repeated ancestral patterns that are deeply rooted from our soul's past life in other realms and then onto Earth. By identifying these patterns, she's found that this helps us to see what ancestral karma we are meant to break and heal. In this presentation, Adriana will present her style of doing past life readings, give specific examples of common cards that appear with certain star or constellation connections like Lyra, and she will do a brief mini reading for the collective on the current transits of 2025. Can't wait now. Let's enjoy.
Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be here, and thank you, Julia, and the whole team for putting this beautiful summit together. It's really an honor, and I feel so lucky to be here and share all this beautiful information that I've learned through Julia's course and in my own research and findings with these readings that I've done. And if anyone's watching that I have connected with in the past with readings, thank you so much for your support and for being here in this space. Really feeling the love through these beautiful presentations. So such a great welcoming space to be in. So I am going to be presenting my, let's see, here it is. There we go. First slide. So these are ancestral patterns that I have found through, again, the use of my own readings that I have done so far. I'm sure I'll find more and more information as I go along. So I'd say about the past year, maybe a little less. This is what I've got so far, and it's been actually quite a lot, more than you would think, I guess. And it's been such a journey to do this, and I love every bit of it. As Julia said in my introduction, I had been I still am a tarot reader. I've always been doing divination since I was very young. I even use a pendulum as well to kind of help me confirm certain things if I need more of a yes, no type answer. And I really wanted to carry that into these beautiful galactic astrology readings so I can get even more details as much as I could for the people I was connecting with. I guess my main focus is to really share the experience more so. I do like the sharing of the different beings as well. So not that there's anything wrong with that, but I like to, I think, focus more on the experience that somebody has had. So that way we can, of course, identify what keeps coming up through our incarnations and what can we heal in this life. So again, I combine the beautiful use of galactic astrology here, again, taught from Julia, and look at the different fixed stars. So if we look at this, this is just a transit chart here, but if this was a natal chart, let's say for somebody, I would take a look and see. So let's say here with Pluto, okay, they have a Ladfar tightly conjunct here. A Ladfar is a fixed star in Lyra, and Lyra is a very big one for me. I get tons of people from Lyra, and I think that's because I very much resonate with Lyrans, being very much closely connected to that star system in my own personal chart. So I would look at that and I would see, okay, this is where you are connected to here. You have past life origins, connections here. And what I do is I do use my own intuitive abilities to kind of basically intuit whether or not this was an actual past life that was there, or is it more so the energy from the star system? Because sometimes it could be just the energy and perhaps give some extra traits and characteristics, just like you would in a natal chart reading, for example. So I would intuit that. And once I've determined that, yes, this definitely I really feel that this was a past life that you had here, especially if it's very tightly conjunct here, a tight orb with Pluto. This could maybe be an origin from very, very long ago, if we want to think of time as linear. So then I say, okay, I'll look at, some of the aspects in the chart, see what's going on there to kind of tell the story of what's happening here. So if it's in the first house, maybe this had to do with your personality, your sense of identity there. And in your current life, I would say that, okay, you probably very much identify with the Lyran characteristics, which I would then tell you what those are during the reading. But again, I want to get as much detail as possible. I just love all the details. So I go ahead and I pull from my past life oracle deck here. Actually, I can quickly show. It is by Doreen Virtue. I don't believe she actually does cards anymore, but these cards, and Brian L. Weiss, I believe. So perhaps he did the illustrations, but yes, these actually are more so for Earth past lives, but I have been able to work with them through my practice and through doing the coursework in Julia's Galactic Astrology program. With all that practice and being able to intuit these cards meant for Earth past lives, I've been able to actually apply it to these amazing past lives in other realms and galactic environments. So yeah, really cool stuff to really get that. So yeah, and I do also Earth past lives as well, of course. So sometimes too, for people, it's easier to start off with the Earth past lives and then kind of work our way towards the more off Earth and other realms, different dimensions. This is all multi-dimensional here, so there's so many layers to it. So again, I'm very customizable in the way that I approach readings too. So if it's too much to do the galactic, I can do baby steps to getting there, or just focus on even one particular life. If somebody had, Pleiades or Sirius, and they wanted to just focus on one, then we could do that and pull some cards. So again, to use this as an example, if this was Lyra and these were the cards I got, I would say, yeah, you have deep roots here. You have this beautiful card of trees that shows, I think, a family tree. So deep roots here, so very much embedded in your soul records, and you've gained a lot of wisdom, learned a lot of things, and I might ask and pose the question, well, what have you learned in this lifetime? And let's reflect on these lessons here. And perhaps one of those lessons might be that you might struggle with some sort of abandonment issues, because we have the orphan card here. And interestingly enough, that's kind of a good transition actually to my next slide with Lyra. The orphan card comes out almost all the time with the Lyra readings. And I feel like that is just really giving extra confirmation, if you needed more confirmation, that there was this event that happened there where many were abandoned and had to seek refuge. So let me backtrack a little bit. So if those of you who maybe are new to Lyra, others I think have mentioned this already, but the Prism of Lyra I highly recommend. It is by Lisa Royal Halt, and she is a channeler. There's many other channelers too who have picked up on, again, the same story that has played out in Lyra. And just to kind of give it a brief sum up, I kind of think of it as this place that was once kind of a paradise, a Garden of Eden, I would say. And there was attacks that happened. There was war that happened from other beings that came in. So there's no surprise there too that ships, the oracle card of ships comes in quite often with this. There's another card too called transportation. I've kind of grouped transportation and ships together because it's very much, I get through the same message with those cards of having to leave, to escape, to seek refuge in other star systems. And I've even had a couple of readings where I was able to figure out where they go, which was really cool because it was somewhere, I can't remember the name of it now, but Julia had said it in the course. And funny enough, I got that same one that was mentioned to be one of the main places that many Lyrans escaped to seek out refuge. So, I mean, for me personally, getting this, being somebody who has Lyra connection, my star connection is to Sulafat in Lyra. So that is the fixed star I am closely aligned to, and in my sun sign. So this feels more recent that I was there before choosing to come onto our beautiful Earth here. So it's just so really so beautiful for me personally when I connect with other fellow Lyrans. But many of us are actually from Lyra. If we go into this is a whole different topic, but if we go into the channeled messages of our DNA, actually tracing back to this for humans, that is, which again, Lisa Royal Halt does mention that in the Prism of Lyra. So if you're interested in that, I do recommend this book by her. Again, it really resonates for me, and if you're interested, it might for you as well. So yeah, what are these common themes then that we see? So like I said, with the orphan card, a lot of the times through the readings that I've had with people, it might be that they themselves were abandoned by their family. Some of their family might have chosen to fight. I actually had somebody too who was a warrior, and she chose to fight. And it was so cool to really get that, because she had this vision her whole life of that happening, and then doing this reading, we were able to piece that together. So again, she kind of had this guilt, though, of having to abandon her people, but it was to fight this battle that was going on. So for some people, it was that. For others, they were the ones that were left and had to seek out shelter. and find some sort of refuge somewhere. So what does this mean in our modern Earth lifetime right now in our 3D reality? So that can manifest as abandonment issues within us. So how can we find a sense of security and safety? Finding home, that is a big one for Lyrans, I think, particularly. But I think for many of us who are connected to the stars kind of feel like that. But finding our home here on Earth and being able to make it here, make our home here. And yeah, finding that safety net here. And also with the ships and leaving, travel could come up for you. Maybe you like to travel, or it could even be the opposite. Maybe you kind of shy away from wanting to be nomadic. Perhaps you want more stability and have more of a grounded living situation because of what you dealt with in your past life. Again, looking for more stability now. So again, this was one of the biggest ones. I hope to collect some more insights, I guess research you could say, on this. The more readings I do, of course, I'll be able to accumulate more. But Lyra was the biggest one. But I do have, of course, more to share with the oracle cards. So, of course, can't talk about ancestral patterns without also mentioning relationships. That is probably one of the biggest themes that come up in almost, I want to say, almost every reading that I've had. Even readings, again, that are not the galactic readings, but the Earth lifetimes type of readings. Relationships definitely do come up a lot. So some of you, if you were to get these cards when I do a reading, you might have the sense of, I've met you before with the person that you are currently with. And that often shows up with the spouse card in particular, that your current partner or spouse is somebody that, yes, you've met before. And in fact, I did do a reading. It was very beautiful. It's actually one of our, I think one of the students in our course, she let me do a reading for her when I was still studying. And her husband and her, they were kind of star-crossed lovers, and they were able to find each other again in this lifetime. So that was really beautiful to see. And who doesn't love a good love story? So I'm a hopeless romantic, so I love getting anything to do with relationships and love. Synastry readings are always fun to do. But these also bring on opportunities to heal the karma in the relationship. So with that karmic relationship card, a lot of times I do think the karmic relationship card in particular, the karmic relationship label in general does get a little bit of a bad connotation. And yes, it can be, but what it's really doing is it's bringing this opportunity here in your current life to heal the karma. But of course, it takes two, right? It takes two to make things work. So at the end of the day, if it's only one person who is identifying the repeated issues and willing to work at it, but the other person's not, then of course there's an imbalance there. So maybe you'll work out your soul contract in a different lifetime and find something to work out. Or maybe your lesson could be to break away from that, and that was the lesson that you needed to learn, and that was the soul contract you both had with each other, is to learn that lesson. But other times there are good opportunities and positive, quote unquote positive outcomes to healing the relationship and having a chance at love and being together, especially if you weren't able to be together because of maybe wars and other things of that nature. So yeah, this is always really cool to see come up in reading. So yes, relationships, definitely a big one that comes up for past lives. Okay, so Atlantis, I thought, this is a really popular one, so couldn't help but to share Atlantis and a very beautiful realm, Atlantis. Now, this is one that actually was on our beautiful Earth here at some point in time, Atlantis. So, if you have in your chart, this is what I again have found so far in my own personal experience, is that if you with fixed star Nihal and then the Hyades constellation. Hyades is actually right next door to the Pleiades. So I wouldn't be surprised if anyone who has connection to Pleiades also feels connected to Atlantis as well. And Pisces Austrinus, particularly with fixed star Fomalhaut. So that is the little fish, not the big fish, the Pisces fish. So that is the smaller one. So no surprise there that that is connected to the beautiful realm of Atlantis. So again, too, you can check this for free on the on Julia's website, galacticastrochart.com. You can check that out. And obviously, if you would like any of us to intuit that information for you, you can go to the practitioners page for that as well. But yes, I thought this was interesting information to share with connection to Atlantis here. And again, Atlantis was another civilization um, that perhaps had some sort of I'm not necessarily sure if it was war, but there was definitely polarity that shifted. And of course, there was unfortunately a fall to Atlantis. So, like Lyra falling, Atlantis fall or sank, maybe in this case. So, there is that, those ancestral things can come up again of feeling out of place here and finding your sense of home. And I'm sure probably believing in Atlantis or even Lemuria is another one as well. Okay. So another oracle card that often comes out in my past life readings is trees. Trees comes out quite a bit actually. And for me, what I intuit that I really feel it is confirming that this is where you are deeply rooted. So if I'm looking at a particular star, so let's say Pegasus constellation, Beta Pegasi, and there's a fixed star called Beta Pegasi in Pegasus. I see somebody has that aligned in their chart. So I then maybe it's in the fourth house or even fifth house, and then I get the card of trees. Fourth house is all about family and the home, things like that. So ancestry. So that would confirm for me, and I would intuit that as having deep roots there with your family and feeling even a sense of your family being from there, and maybe even missing your family, your star family from Pegasus here. So, again, as an example. And it could also even mean that somebody in your own family may have that, maybe on your maternal or your paternal side of the family, may actually come from there. And maybe you both shared a life together. Maybe the roles were reversed or whatever the case might be. So that can show up too, and sometimes there's indicators that I could see in the chart to be able to find that. But that card really does bring in that extra confirmation of feeling deeply rooted in this whatever star system it may be. So oftentimes trees for me personally has come out so far with Lyra, Pegasus, Orion, and Centaurus constellation. So perhaps at this time, or it could just be maybe who I'm attracting at this time, of course, but maybe at this time we are having a lot of star seeds that are from here that are deeply rooted there, but also feel perhaps a sense of connection with those constellations presently. So, and it's very present in their own life at this time, in this current life. So, yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to say on that. Yeah, really beautiful card. It can, of course, too mean nature itself too. So perhaps the nature there, you really cared for it there. You were very deeply connected to the natural environment of this realm. And perhaps now in your current life, you find yourself being the same way. So it can kind of be a double meaning for that. Okay, so why know all this? So I feel this helps you, just like a regular natal astrology reading would be. This helps you gain a better understanding of yourself. But we're taking it to the next level, right? Because I am, with your permission, accessing your soul records and doing it in this type of way that I've explained, this process that I do. And again, it's to help you to know yourself better and hopefully to help break those ancestral patterns, if there are ones that need breaking, or any type of, yeah, curses or things that you want to end the cycle. And this is my personal belief. I feel that a lot of us currently in these times, in this I don't know if it's the generation, but in this time, I feel like a lot of us are striving for this. I'm seeing so many more people who are wanting to stop those patterns. So perhaps somebody with a family history of addiction, and maybe they fell into that. They're deciding, no, I'm not going to keep doing this anymore. I'm not going to follow this pattern, and I'm going to stand up and break the wheel, so to speak. And it's really empowering to see that. So, an example of addiction like that, or perhaps relationship patterns where, whatever the case might be with someone having issues with marriages and things like that. The next generation, the next child, whoever it might be, might decide, I'm not going to get married, or I'm going to maybe do something a little bit different, change things up and not want to carry on. Maybe if there was anger issues or whatever the case might be, that has been flooded through the ancestral lines. So it's really empowering to see that. I just, I want people to be able to accomplish that. And I feel that is why I feel this big energetic push to kind of clear this collective soul karma. And that's part of the reason why we chose to be here. So we're healing our cycles, and when we heal on the individual soul level, then that ripples out through the collective, and that will help to heal us and push us forward into bigger, better, beautiful things, clearing that karma. Of course, too, that then would help you onto your next soul journey. So wherever you decide you're going to end up going after this, maybe you stay here, and you want to try something new, or wherever you end up going. So, yeah, also, I did too want to mention, I make sure I'm doing okay on time. Yeah. I also will get sometimes the Galactic card here. I'll just put that up real quick. This is in the Past Life Oracle deck. So like I said, this Past Life Oracle deck was curated to be more so for the Earth past lives, but very cool that they included the Galactic Oracle card. And when that comes out, I feel like it's just extra confirmation that yes, you had a galactic past life with this star system, or it is very present, and maybe that star is still speaking to you, and the energy is very much present there, and you may want to connect with that. So something else I just wanted to also quickly mention there. So yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to cover with that. And I will now share my oracle message that I have. So I decided to, I think because I was really feeling this Cancer full moon, I decided to use my Moonology Oracle deck by Yasmin Boland, and the artwork is by Nyx Rowan. So the Moonology Oracle cards. So I pulled this ahead of time for this since it was going to be live. I didn't want to take too much time to shuffle and pull the cards. So the first card that I got, very beautiful message here. I will just stop my slide so that I can show it on the big screen here. There we go. So the first card I got is You Are Good Enough, full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. I was feeling very emotional with this card because of this Cancer full moon that's going on. And then we have the North Node that's just shifted into Pisces. A lot of emotions are at an all-time high right now. So if you needed to hear this message of validation that you are good enough, whatever it is that you were trying to accomplish, be patient with yourself. That is what we need to know at this time, is we need to be patient with ourselves, have some grace, and have a little faith in yourself too. Things will work out in divine timing, of course. So just know that you are good enough, and whatever it is that you are trying to achieve or accomplish, or even if it's for your own any insecurities maybe that you might be feeling. I get a very motherly energy from this card. She looks like Mother Earth, actually, like Gaia. And the full moon is also, the South Node at this time has just shifted into Virgo. So the North Node's in Pisces, and the South Node opposite to that is in Virgo. So sometimes we need to get grounded and more comfortable in our own skin. So that was ringing true with the current astrology that's happening at this time. Again, getting grounded and in our bodies at this time, because the emotions are definitely at an all-time high. And funny enough, on the bottom of the deck is emotions are running high. Super moon. And that is very true with that Cancer full moon. There's a lot of emotions happening right now. I know there's a lot going on collectively with all these things going on in the world too. And I hope that I do want to just say that I hope everyone is okay out there in California. And Ursula just did a beautiful presentation, and she is from there as well. So just want to send lots of healing water to California and places that need any healing as well, sending light there. So yeah, that was what I wanted to share in this presentation. Let me quickly to put this back up so I can share my free gift, because that's always good, right? There you go. I'll go back to this. Oh yeah, so my details too. I am on YouTube and Instagram. I actually do a podcast with my grandmother, so it's kind of fun to share. We're from two different generations, but we have so much in common, and we do our Heart to Heart astrology podcast on YouTube. You might have seen us actually on the Galactic Astrology channel as well. My YouTube personally is StarrySkyReadings. I put up my own solo videos on there as well, and on Instagram. But for the free gift, please do contact me via my email, StarrySkyReadings, and any questions too that you might have. Feel free to just write me directly to my email. I've just found that that's the best way, whether you have questions about this or about a reading, just send me an email there. But if you could send the word summit, and you could type in something too if you want to do more than that. But if you could, in the subject, put summit, I will be doing one free past life oracle card. So again, using my past life oracle deck, I will send you your own past life card. So again, it's just one card, and I will do like a little brief intuitive message on what that past life was for you. So again, that will be through email. So send me a message on there, and that will be valid until the end of the month. So don't miss out on that. And yeah, I think that's everything that I had to share today. I will be sticking around too for questions that might be in the comments if anyone has any. Oh, sorry, Julia, I can't hear you. Are you muted? Oops.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Adriana. That was amazing. I love how through, over time, when you do so many readings, you gather enough data to start seeing patterns. And that's literally what happened to me before I wrote the Galactic Astrology courses, working with people one-on-one. And for you now, working with tarot cards, doing past life readings, but also having access to galactic astrology charts for your clients, and then seeing patterns repeating with certain stars, certain cards keep showing up. It just got me so excited, and some of those that you shared just had chills with the truth bombs, as I call them. So there was some really nice feedback here from the audience. There is one question that stood up. One was, what do you think it could mean to have Venus conjunct Lyra in 4th house?
Ooh, that is an interesting combination. So yeah, could have to do with definitely relationship. Obviously, Venus, we think of the goddess of love, and so there could have been some sort of relationship experience in Lyra, especially with it being in the 4th house too, or family type of.
My apologies, actually, it was Atlantis conjunct Venus, not Lyra conjunct Venus. Atlantis conjunct Venus in 4th house. It's on the screen now from Carolina.
I see. Okay. Atlantis. Okay. Atlantis conjunct Venus. Yeah, that again, it kind of would apply the same thing, except it would be for Atlantis, I would say. And you might feel a sense of like that is your family, is the Atlanteans, definitely with that 4th house energy.
I was also getting or sensing a priestess life in Atlantis, right? Venus, 4th house, Atlantis. To me, I was
that's
high
very
priestess.
true. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, high priestess, Aphrodite or Venus, however that might have been interpreted to at that time in Atlantis. Very much so.
As I recall, some of the past life regression sessions that I held space for, there was a temple dedicated to Venus as well in ancient Greece, I believe this was, but the timelines kind of overlap with some of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that. There was another question from Jocelyn, she also has a conjunction in the 4th house. So a question from Jocelyn. I'm trying to look for it. Oh no, sorry, Kelly, if you're looking up finding questions, it's question from Bogdana. Thank you. What does it mean to have Saturn conjunct Lyra, Sulafat in 4th house? And I see.
Yeah, I have Sulafat too, conjunction. Okay, so Saturn, that is, the planet of karma. So there could be some karmic things coming up. I wouldn't be surprised too if I did do, the past life cards. I wouldn't be surprised if something like orphan or transport ships and something like that goes along with that trauma that was experienced. So there was something karmic that happened there. But because it's a conjunction, I do like to see the positives of it, that there was a healing in the situation too, from that. So I'm sure there would be some sort of lesson that was learned and a healing brought to light with that energy, maybe with family and ancestral things as well.
Beautiful. I fully agree. There is nice question about your lovely cards. What is the name of the deck that you used?
Is it the past? Do you know if they meant the past life cards or the Oracle
Let's share
moon
both.
ones?
Let's share both. Yeah.
Yeah. So the past life Oracle cards are by Doreen Virtue. So those are all the past life ones. And then the Moonology deck, these Oracle cards are by Yasmin Boland. Moonology. Cool.
Gorgeous.
Okay. Oh, my camera started moving.
We have a beautiful question in relation to you and your grandmother's galactic astrology chart. So this is person's, it was just BB, I'm going to call her BB. If you, Adriana, if you can read this message, and I have listened to you and your grandma, thank you. Could I please ask you if you have looked at both of your charts, if there are connections? Let us know. Do you know?
So, you know what's funny about that is me and my grandmother were actually not blood related, but funny enough, we say we're a star family because we very much are connected spiritually, and in that way, we both have Lyra connection, very much so. And I believe we had something with Hydra as well. But yeah, we find all sorts of connections, honestly. Even in our own natal chart, we're both Capricorn and we are both Cancer risings too. So yeah, we're very much, she is my grandmother for sure.
Such a beautiful resonance there. And it's rare to see two different generations sharing perspectives astrologically. Like, that's really so unique. For both your channels, it's a delight to watch you and the beautiful chemistry and love and respect that you have for each other. So highly recommend people for exploring. And Caitlin was meant to be here as one of the speakers for this summit, but circumstances prevented it, unfortunately. But hopefully, at any future summits, she'll join us. She has so much wisdom and love to share with our collective.
She does.
So
I've
much
learned
love.
so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Bibi, for watching us.
Excellent. There are a few more questions, like generic galactic astrology questions. So I'll maybe keep them for the end of the day. I don't see any directed questions specifically for you, Adriana. Kelly, am I missing any? Feel free to add them to the screen. And I think we'll close. We'll share that Sheila shared, just loved your presentation, have done tarot and oracle cards since very young and resonate very deeply how you have related them to galactic astrology. So big love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sheila.
Perfect. Thank you, Kelly, for adding one more question. Yeah. What does it mean to be opposite Lyra? Thank you.
So yeah, that could be, again, we would have to intuit it, but it could definitely mean that you still have had a past life there, and it would maybe more so indicate that there was a challenge there because of the opposition, that friction there, maybe facing polarity with what was going on at that time. So yes, it could definitely mean that you have that connection. I believe I even have a opposition somewhere else in my chart aside from my sun with Lyra, and again, it still does resonate too.
Thank you. I pretty much, I think, typed a similar reply. I also want to add that with opposition, the way I see it is that when we incarnate on Earth, sometimes it's important for us to get a break from frequency of a star system so that we can fully experience something new that is very important. Even perhaps getting deep into the bloodline, the lineage of the Earth, the environment, everything that's here. If it was a conjunct alignment, that frequency of the star would be would almost prevent whatever else wanted to be experienced and integrated first. So the opposition gives us a time gap where we can fully focus on something new here now, and then through transits that keep activating that opposition, even just moon every 28 days or any other transit that kind of hits that point, in time, slowly we start remembering that actually we have a connection there too. It's like when you move to a different country, and you fully focus first on the new environment so you can integrate, and then later on you start recalling memories and kind of bring back the frequency of the previous country or incarnation into your life. So opposition tend to become activated and integrated at the later time of our life. And usually then we remember, oh, actually we had something unresolved there. Now we can resolve it because we've learned something else new in the meantime. So it's easier for us to work with that frequency and then just become more whole again. Would you agree?
Yes, I was going to say that is, yeah, very true. I would agree. With what I've done so far, I've definitely seen that kind of play out too. Or it's maybe more so that they're starting to, and that's why they've come to approach for a reading. So that's getting activated.
Beautiful. Yes. There's a new question from Sylvia. I'm very curious about having the great attractor in exact conjunct with my sun in Sagittarius, and also Shapley attractor conjunct Mars in Scorpio. Amazing, strong placement, Sylvia. I would invite you to explore our Galactic Astrology YouTube channel and literally just search for the Great Attractor, search for Shapley Attractor. And there are several videos where we covered the supracosmic points. And I would just imagine that with Sun on such a powerful point and your Mars on such a powerful cosmic points, there's a lot of magnetic frequency inside your being, but also complex mind, or able to perceive things that are not necessarily available consciously to others. And perhaps you're here to bring insights through your higher being, the sun, and also take action on them through Mars. And even though it may feel like others cannot understand your unique perspective at first, in time they cop on and it's like, oh my goodness, that was such a great inspiration. Would you like to add anything, Adriana?
Oh, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. But yeah, great attractor, especially with the sun too in Sagittarius. I feel like you're a really big thinker. You think outside the box with things, and with that Shapley attractor with Mars and Scorpio, very deep Scorpio, but you're like intuiting things and getting downloads very easily, but you're able to put that into motion with that Mars energy. So that's just
I would also say, thank you. I would also add maybe a good lie detector. Like, it's probably really hard to lie to this person, to Sylvia, because you'll just sense if something is not true. Question from Laura. Are there many people that have only had Earth lifetimes? I have a perspective on that. Would you like to share yours, Adriana?
That's a really good question. I'm sure that there could definitely be, maybe, but it's so hard to say because we're all connected. So I'm curious what you would think about that, Julia. That's a good question.
So I'm deeply aware of how much information is stored in our DNA, in our genetics. We can track the ancestral stories until the very beginning of our physical experience on Earth. And I believe that humanity has been seeded by our extraterrestrial ancestors. So we all hold codes of the stars in our physical human body. And then usually the soul also has memories of incarnations in other star systems. I am biased because in my experience, I'm yet to meet a soul that only had earthly incarnations. And I'm aware that there may be some that believe that they're only incarnated on Earth and not elsewhere. But I would say Earth is pretty tough to start incarnating into. So I would say if there is a percentage, it's very small. But again, I might be biased based on the attraction point that I have. So someone might oppose now, saying, but how come so many people are just not interested in the star topics at all? They're very much just here now on Earth. And I would say it's part of the amnesia that we are experiencing, but the veil is lifting, and people who had no clue, never connected to any of it. At the most random time during their special transit activation, suddenly they start remembering greater part of their soul existence. And my goodness, I do connect to stars. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment, please. I think we only have, this is the last question, Kelly, if that's okay. I think the time is up then, and Ulrika is coming back. Nicole, I haven't found much info on Series B. What are the beings like? If I may, there is, from my experience, there is a lot of connection with the Essenes and Christ consciousness and Isis, Hathor. There is a mix between Series A and Series B. It's sometimes hard for people to fine tune whether they are tuning into A or B when they're tapping into the collective of the ancient mystery schools of Sirius, triple star system, in fact. But many people also connected and channeled information about aquatic beings and residing in Sirius B, and beautiful, beautiful worlds that are with mermaid and merman people, dolphins, whales, and all these gorgeous oceanic beings that hold so much wisdom seem to be connected to that star system too. I believe Elena Danan has information about human beings coming from Series B with very specific description there. Do you recall any more, Adriana?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had any readings like that, but you may have with Sirius B or Sirius A, you might get the ancient Egypt oracle card. Here it is here. So that might be a connection there. And of course, as we know through the hieroglyphics and their deities that they had there, they all looked all different types of humanoid beings. So yeah, endless possibilities with that one. But I think, like what Julia said, Elena Danan had some information in her book on the more humanoid beings.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for an amazing presentation, and also for pulling the great cards that resonated with many for our summit. Wishing you best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Julia, for this amazing summit that you put together. Really, truly, thank you.
It's my pleasure. So I'm going to play a countdown, and then we'll be back with our next speaker. All right. Much love.